It is the happiest country in the world for the sixth year in a row, Finland. The country's society is based on trust and freedom, and it has the best developed education system. Enough reasons to live a happy life up north. At least, that is what the World Happiness Report claims. But how happy is Finland exactly? Säde Stenlund is a Finnish happiness researcher who wrote an essay called Why is Finland Special? She notices that not everyone in Finland understands the term happiness.
Happiness as a term is not self-explanatory, and when we talk about the World Happiness Report happiness, we talk about life satisfaction, the possibilities for good life, and how satisfied you are with your life. It does not necessarily mean that we are smiling and feeling the strongest positive emotions all the time, but that we actually have so good possibilities to live a good life in Finland.
The World Happiness Report is measuring happiness all over the world for a decade now. Since 2018, Finland is on top of their list, and in the years prior, the country was always in the top 10 on the index. The Finnish people must feel so happy, you would say, but do they realize that themselves?
Someone kuudes kerta onnellinen, onnellisen maa.
No, en tiennyt.
Kyllä mä allekirjoitan.
No kyllä se minusta vaikuttaa tällä hetkellä vielä ihan uskottavalta. Se, että onko pitkän päälle, niin meillä on niin paljon uhkia yhteiskunnassa, mutta kyllä minusta se on.
Onko näin, että mä luulin, että me välillä oltiin, mutta enää ei ollakaan.
No se on jotakin ihan valepropagandaa vaan, että ei pidä paikkaansa.
No en oikein allekirjoita.
Miksi?
Ja tuntuu, että täällä on koko ajan vaan enemmän masentuneita ja ahdistuneita nuoria ihmisiä ja vanhuksilla menee huonommin ja vähän kaikilla ihmisryhmillä tuntuu siltä.
Yeah, I feel very good to live here in Finland. It's actually a good country.
A country's happiness is being measured on a scale of 1 to 10. Throughout the years, Finland scored between the 7.6 and a 7.9. With these grades, it is remarkable to see that some Finnish people don't feel as happy as you would expect. John F. Helliwell, one of the founders and editors of the World Happiness Report, explains why the Finnish society is amazed by the results.
The fact that Finns are surprised by this is exactly one of the reasons why Finland is the top. People who are searching for happiness don't find it. Happiness is a consequence of a life well lived. And for a variety of reasons, all of which are fully understood, in all the Nordic countries, there's a very high degree of caring about each other. And it turns out from our science, that's absolutely fundamental to a happy life. And so there was early evidence of this when wallets were dropped all over the world. And Helsinki was the place where they were all returned. And in various other places that didn't happen.
But why are we even measuring happiness?
It was quite clear that people lacked evidence about the quality of life. They intuitively knew to say how rich a person was or a country was, which are GDP per capita and healthy life expectancy had both been given importance and talked about. They said there's more to life than that. And especially the World Happiness Report, right from the very beginning, discovered and emphasized that human social relations are absolutely fundamental. The way in which people look after each other and treat each other is fundamental to how they feel about their own lives. So that's changed the way in which people look at things. It has also changed how people think about the Nordic countries, because right from the very beginning, the Nordic countries were at the top of this list.
Mitä tunteita tämä sinussa herättää?
Sekaavia tunteita.
Oudolta. Mun mielestä, tai no niin, toisaalta joo ymmärrän, mutta toisaalta en.
Se on hyvä.
No joo, toivotaan, että pysytäänkin onnellisimpina maana, että kyllähän täällä kohtuullisen hyvin menee, mutta omalta kohdaltani ja läheisteni osaltani en voi valittaa. Hyvin on Suomi hoitanut asiat.
No ihan kai se on onnellinen olo itselläkin.
No, mulla on itsellä päihde- ja mielenterveysongelmia, että ei tää mulle näyttänyt kovin onnellisena maana. Että itse tuosia ajatuksia päivittäin.
Että täällä on semi hyvin kaikkia turvallista, mutta myös täällä on ankeata ja synkkää ja pimeätä.
Jos ihminen on herkkä aistimahan voi aistia myös hengellisesti ja hengessä, niin kuin, että täällä on paljon ahdistusta, häpeää ja pelkoa ja pahuutta täällä. Että ei täällä monet kyllä kovin onnellisia ole.
Kylmä maa, mutta onneksi meillä on turvallisuusmaa niin kuin kaikkien puolen, niin voisin sanoa paras maa.
En mä tiedä noin niin kuin yleisesti, että onko tämä nyt oikeasti se onnellisin maa. Välttämättä.
So, before the report was created, there was no extensive research into human happiness. But why did they choose for the word happiness? What about the best arranged country or the most successful?
The agreement among the scientists was that subjective well-being would be the right way of describing the field. Because the subjective part is really important and well-being is what is being assessed. But can you imagine a report that comes out as the World Subjective Well-Being Report? And that's, if you like, the reason why we call it the World Happiness Report. It's really happiness about life as a whole, the judgmental use of the word.
Yeah, there is quite a bit of discussion on terminology in the happiness research field. The word happiness is usually used because that resonates with people pretty intuitively. Subjective well-being is another term which is usually the more scientific word, but it doesn't really resonate with people. It is not a perfect term, and that's why usually when we talk about the World Happiness Report, I feel it's important that we really see what is measured. Of course, when we get the news that Finland is the happiest country in the world, Finnish people are like, I don't believe that. And that's in a way sad because we have such good things in our country. And maybe if we would just understand what it's about, then we could appreciate it more too.
There's two ways of using the word happiness. You can be happiness as an emotion. How happy am I now? But you can also ask yourself, how happy am I about our tax system? How happy am I about the way in which people are treating each other in the streets these days? And that's a judgmental version. So the central question remains a life evaluation. Well, you're not going to have a world report on life evaluations. That's not going to attract attention. And you, first of all, no point writing a book if people aren't going to read it. So you want to get the readers in.
So it's not subjective well-being or life evaluation, but it's happiness. Helliwell explains how you can measure something as elusive as someone's happiness.
So it's a question that in the Gallup World Poll that was there right from the beginning, which asked people on a scale of 0 to 10, think of their life as a ladder with the best possible life as a 10 and the worst as a 0. How would they rate their lives today? And if you want to know about the quality of life, ask someone in a reflective moment to think about their life as a whole. And that's what we do. We report to the world what the individuals in the world report to the surveyors of the Gallup World Poll, no more and no less.
The central letter is one of the most important measurements for the World Happiness Report. The test is performed by the Gallup World Poll, the key partner of the report. The respondents have to imagine a letter with the bottom of the scale being a 0, which represents the worst possible life for you. The top of the letter is a 10, the best possible life for you. They have to tell on which step of the ladder they are currently standing and on which step they think they will stand in 5 years from now. Säde Stenlund grew up in Finland, but currently lives in Canada. Moving abroad made her realize how different Finland is from other countries.
And when they asked what is special, I just started to tell, and even some things I felt embarrassed to tell when I realized how special it actually is. So then once after one of these occasions when I had told all of this, I was like, I should write this down. And as I also had discussed with some Finnish happiness experts and global happiness experts, I was like, there is quite a lot to it, just for Finnish people to appreciate what is special, and then also for international people who are interested to know.
And that is how her essay was born. One thing she mentions in her paper is that Finnish people don't realize enough how lucky they are.
I think that's kind of even beautiful that we can take it for granted because it's so much built into the system. It's slightly sad that we actually cannot appreciate it so much, but just the fact that we take it so much for granted and are so upset if we would lose any of the benefits, whereas like when we moved to another country and we just realized how different it is in so many ways, in terms of childcare, the costs and all of this, and then some slight changes in Finland makes people very upset, which is understandable because we are so used to it.
Throughout the years, other Nordic countries also ended up high in the list. But how does Finland differ from those countries?
I would say the Nordic countries are more similar than different. And if we start to talk about differences, the differences are pretty small when we look at a global scale. There are like some things, like the Finnish past in building the society from like adverse conditions in about a century to this stage. That is something pretty special. And somehow I think it has built some kind of sense of like maybe a slightly stronger sense of us and the will to support our country. Yeah, we're going to appreciate maybe things that some other countries wouldn't appreciate as much. But those are mostly speculations from my personal part.
The difference between the Nordic countries is really small. Yet for the 6th time in a row, Finland is ranked as the happiest. Besides the Central Letter Survey, the World Happiness Report also bases the grades on many factors. These include income, health, generosity, social support, freedom and corruption.
Mistä luulet, että tämä johtuu, tämä Suomen onnellisuus? Onko se joku salaisuus?
Varmaan tämä Suomen talvi, se on niin mukava ja semmoinen piristävä. Kestää niin kauan ja tälle.
Kyllä se varmaan tämä harmaa talvi on se juttu.
Niin se vaatii sitkeyttä ihan erillä tavalla.
Joo.
Pystyy olla tosi kiitollinen ja iloinen siitä, kun tulee lämmin ja valoisa kesä.
Me ollaan tämmöistä rehellistä kansaa ja tyydytään. Ollaan perusvaatimattomia ja näin päin pois. Että
Varmaan niin suomalaisten luonteesta, että miten olla.
Meillä on hyvä koulutus ja hyvä terveydenhuolto, niin ei tarvitse huolehtia niistä asioista.
Suomalaiset on siitä hyviä, että me osataan olla niin kuin pieniin asioihin tyytyväisiä.
Semmoinen luotto kansalaisiin ja sääntöjen noudattaminen, tämmöiset vähän pienet stereotypiat suomalaisista, niin kyllä mä uskon, että ne kantaa pitkälle.
There are a lot of researchers who investigate the importance of happiness and why Finland is special in terms of this. In the next episode we will talk with multiple experts about the Finnish happiness.
Mutta minullekin on arvotus, että miksi Suomi menee vaikka Norjan ohi.
Voisin kysyä, että miksi niin harva suomalainen kokee yksinäisyyttä?
Suomi ei pärjää ollenkaan yhtä hyvin tämmöisessä tunneonnessa.